Good morning, everyone. I've got something really, truly exciting today, and that's CodeIQ. It's a new software that I've created. You can see here it describes itself as the AI Bookkeeper. Now, it's mostly code and algorithms. The AI does come into it, but it plays a small part. You'll see that in a moment. I'm the creator of ReconcileIQ, the automated bank reconciliation software, and LedgerIQ, the one-click financial analysis software with 30 plus analysis modules, aiming to give CFO grade financial insights on completed bookkeeping and general ledgers. And now CodeIQ as well, which is coming shortly, but it's currently in beta access. Now, if you're a beta tester, you can try this out today, but I am actually looking for more beta testers. So if you're interested, the form is in this post. Apply for it, and we'll try and hook you up. We're looking for as many as possible from a wide variety of a wide range of different places and industries. So I'm just going to jump right into it. First of all, I'm going to quickly show you. I'm running today with a Pandle account. I've uploaded to my ReconcileIQ Pandle bookkeeping account some test transactions which are designed, they're made up, but they're designed to sort of represent a typical business. Okay, so let's jump right into it. CodeIQ. Let's close the previous session. So this is the multi-session dashboard. It's designed to handle up to 10 bookkeeping tasks at the same time, ran in parallel, and it will complete them all in under 2 minutes in ideal circumstances. So 10 bookkeeping tasks in under 2 minutes, that's how quick it is. What I'm really excited about is that this is going to help bookkeepers take on more work, take on more clients. It's going to help accountants. It's going to help business owners scale. Yeah, it's going to be really good. And it really ties together the whole the IQ suite, if you like, ReconcileIQ and LedgerIQ. It's the cherry on top. It's the glue that puts them both together. You've got the automated reconciliation software, the financial analysis, and then everything in between is posting to platforms that you're bookkeeping. It's designed to be hands-off. It'll be one of the first of its kind. And you're going to be able to upload, throw your PDF bank statements at it, and then it will quietly in the background whilst you have a coffee code all the transactions and post them to your software, and then it'll hook up with LedgerIQ to give you financial analysis on the completed work. You can run up to 10 sessions at the same time, so I'll just quickly give you a quick demonstration. I am currently connected to Pandle, QuickBooks and Xero accounts. We're going to run a Pandle demonstration today with QuickBooks and Xero. They're mostly implemented, but that's kind of why it's in beta, and that's why I need you to test it, or beta testers to help me out with feedback to try and make this as good as possible to test QuickBooks and Xero. So let's run Pandle. We'll connect to the ReconcileIQ account. Okay, so what it's doing, it's going to pull the chart accounts, and then it's going to pull the outstanding invoices. So let's quickly have a look at what the bookkeeping that's currently on Pandle. So this is the previous historical bookkeeping. You can see here we've got a wide range of different kinds of transactions. They're categorized with the VAT codes. Now going back to CodeIQ. During initialization, we pull the bank statement ledgers and analyze them and create patterns. Now, patterns you can think of as after the fact, reverse engineered bank rules. The bank rules that would have had to have existed on that software for all of those transactions to have been coded purely via bank rules. And the reason why we do that is because moving forwards, when we upload transactions, it does it in the same vein as the bookkeeping that's already been completed. It follows suit. It takes on the personality of the bookkeeping prior to it, and it creates patterns. And we can see the patterns here, so let's look at some examples. Starbucks, travel and subsistence with standard VAT. Amazon UK retail, repairs and renewals, expense category code. Domino's Pizza, I've been categorising that to entertainment with outside the scope VAT, that kind of thing. So these are the patterns that it's learned, and it's going to use these patterns when I upload statements. If any of the transactions match pattern, it will remember how I like to code the bookkeeping. Now, CodeIQ is it's a software that learns the more people use it, and the more you use it, it learns from your corrections over time using machine learning algorithms. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. But it's pulled the bank accounts. Now, what you'd do is, for your period that you want to do the bookkeeping for, you'd simply upload the PDF statements or the CSV statements. In this case, we're going to use a CSV bank statement, and we're only going to upload one bank account. So let's say that these three don't have any activity during the period, and we'll upload this one, bank statement for July. So it maps the statement. I can see it's got the date, description, and amount there, so I'm going to confirm the mapping and then process the transaction. So this is going to happen quite quickly, but what I'll do is I'll talk you through what happens. So this costs 204 credits because there's 51 transactions and it's 4 credits per transaction. I will walk through what that means in a moment. Process the transactions. So this is the 7-phase coding pipeline. It starts off with trying to identify transfers, seeing as though we only uploaded one bank statement. There are no transfers, there are no inter-account transfers because there's no, I haven't uploaded 2 banks, but what it does is it identifies transactions of equal and opposite amounts within the same date period, within 1 day or 2 days, and then it has some sort of descriptive quality that indicates that it's a transfer. It'll code it as a transfer then. Then it's the invoice matches. So the way how this works, it's sequential and exclusionary. Only transactions that haven't been coded in phase 1 are passed to phase 2 and subsequent phases. Phase 2 is invoice match. It's found 2 outstanding invoices which match transactions that I've uploaded. That'll be this supplier invoice to Marks and Spencer's and one of the customer invoices. I don't think I can see it here, but we'll see it in a moment when we've reviewed the transactions. Then it moves on to user patterns. These are the patterns that it created during initialization that I spoke about before. It's found 10 transactions that match user patterns that have already existed in the system, and it's coded them using that method. And then universal. Universal is one of the features that I'm quite proud of for this. And essentially what it means is the more people who use this software, the cleverer CodeIQ gets. What that means is when you opt in to have your patterns incorporated into the universal cache, it federates and anonymizes them. So for example, what it says is users who have Tesco Express transactions tend to categorize it to categories like travel and subsistence, for example, and it removes all of the personalized data, if you like, it, the date, the amount, and it federates it. And so it says stuff like if the transaction is between 1 pence and £10 and it has the vendor X and Y, it tends to be categorized to this category. And then that pattern is actually useful for all users of CodeIQ, no matter what software they use. Maybe they have a completely different chart of accounts. However, let's say, using the same example as before, the travel and subsistence for Tesco Express transaction. Maybe this user is using QuickBooks and they have a travel or a subsistence account, or a meals account, or a groceries account, and it finds the semantic similarity between these two patterns. And so the pattern applies for all users. Moving on, we've got the MCC category match. Now this is where the AI actually comes into it. So we've got a database of 3,000 common UK vendors, and for each vendor we've got 7 or 8 patterns, so we've got around 30,000 patterns in this phase. So if any transaction matches one of those patterns, it'll categorize during this phase. Essentially what it is, going back to the Tesco example again, let's say Tesco matches one of the vendors in the MCC category database. We pull 7 descriptive words that are semantically related to the Tesco vendor, things like groceries, supermarkets, meals, subsistence, that kind of thing. And then it'll use an embedding model called MiniLM, which we host on the server, to match against those descriptive words the chart of accounts, to find the cosine similarity between them. And it returns, the various confidences of the highest confidence matches. And then finally, the transactions which have yet to match are passed to AI semantic, which is the pure semantic phase, which matches the raw transaction description against your chart accounts using semantic similarity. Okay, so you can see that was actually quite quick if you recall before. I'll show you how quickly this works for, many more transactions in a moment. In fact, I'll do that right now. So whilst demonstrating the multi-session aspect of this dashboard. So we'll actually set up a new session here, QuickBooks. And I'm connected to a ReconcileIQ account that I've created on QuickBooks. So let's pull that. So it initializes, it pulls the chart accounts, it analyzes the ledgers, it pulls transactions, finds patterns. Okay, so let's say that there are two bank accounts that we want to upload. It's going to be HSBC, and let's say it's going to be this Lloyd's bank statement. All right, let's process transactions. Done. So that's 412 transactions categorized in, it was around 10 to 15 seconds. Let's go back to the first one. What we're going to do now is we're going to review the transactions. So here are the transactions. Let's just have a quick look. The very top one here is Shell Petrol, which it's identified as a travel and subsistence expense with exempt VAT code. Now what we do is we err on the side of caution with VAT. So unless it's a known vendor that we know has a flat rate VAT or something, or if it matches a historical pattern in the bookkeeping where you have bookkept it previously to include VAT, unless one of those two things is true, then we default to, if it's an expense, we default to, outside the scope, non-VATable or exempt and zero rated, that kind of thing. But it's actually got VAT hints at the top here. So it says, it hints to us that this actually matches standard VAT rate types of transactions. It's a business expense. It's a common vendor, which typically has VAT. However, again, it's defaulted to exempt. But you can use these hints if you're ever struggling with the VAT. And that was matched by the universal method. And then you've got this one here is a invoice match. You see here, you can edit these transactions the way how they're coded as well. But when it's an invoice match, it shows you the customer and the customer invoice reference number in these drop downs instead. We've got stuff like Subway coded to entertainment, Primark, sundry expenses. Well, if we don't agree with that, maybe that be work clothing or drawings, we could change it and then it learns from our change. And I'll show you what I mean here. So there was a transaction for health foods, and initially you see this this column here is the confidence that the coding had, that attributed when it coded it originally. But I've ran this before, and before it coded the Halfords transaction to something that I didn't agree with. So I actually changed it to motor vehicles repairs with exempt VAT code, and it's learned it. So now it overwrites the original coding with my user learning. So this is how the system gets smarter. And I'll show you sort of what I mean. So let's take that Primark transaction from before, that it's coded via the universal method to sundry expenses. Let's say we don't agree. Let's say that this was a personal expense. Okay, so I'll show you quickly what happens. We're going to code this to drawings with the non-VATable. So it gets smarter the more that you use it. If it's a quarterly client, the next time you use it, it'll remember all the edits that you made. So it becomes more agentic, more of a cohesive workflow. We've got the historical transactions here. These were matched using patterns that were identified from the historical bookkeeping, stuff like EDF energy, electricity with reduced rate VAT. MCC category matches, Topshop, work clothing, etc. Then you've got, so it does it, the default view is reverse order of confidence. So the very bottom here, you've got the ones that it is least confident about. And this is, you can see here, where we've got quite a few user learning method where I've overwritten what it initially tried to code it as. But you can see generally the accuracy is, it's quite high. I'd say between 85 and 90%. But currently, this is all, I agree with everything here due to these user learning edits. So currently it's more like 100%, but when you initially run it, the accuracy is quite high. Okay, so let's see. Let's actually post these. Let's say I'm happy with the way how these look. I'm going to post these to Pandle. Okay, so what happens here is it says, well, actually, I wasn't confident about some of these transactions. Are you sure? Would you like to change them now? But as I said, this is a demo. We're just going to assume that these are all fine, and actually a lot of these I'd already changed. So let's post them anyway. Okay, so it opens the posting center. Now you can minimize this and go between the different sessions if you want, and open it up anytime. But it's currently posting these transactions. So let's filter. These are all July transactions. Let's filter for July and go back to CodeIQ. It started posting them. It's posted 10, 20, 30. It does it quite quickly. And it posts it in 2 batches. It posts the standard transactions and then the invoice matches as well. So it's posted all 51 of them. Let's see them here and refresh. So there they are. These are all the transactions coded and ready and reconciled with exactly the way how we saw it in review there. You've got the customer receipts and supplier payments as well. So it understands when things are invoice matches and how to post those. You see here, it says analyze with LedgerIQ, and this is what I meant about the ecosystem being a closed loop, everything interconnected. LedgerIQ is my financial analysis suite. This isn't yet hooked up, but I've set it up in a tab here so you can see how this will look once it's hooked up. But essentially it takes the general ledger of the bookkeeping that you've just posted and it gives you the insights on it. So let's have a quick look. It'll give you, your standard financial statements like your profit and loss report, balance sheet, cash flow, changes in equity, common size P&L. But it goes into more detail as well. So let's have a look at the profitability modules. We've got margin analysis and profitability intelligence. So it shows you your revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit in this waterfall chart. Different visualizations as well. And each module, profitability margin analysis, has several different views as well. So we've got like a trend line here, a decomposition of the different sort of expenses. And you've got benchmarks as well, so you can see how you sort of stack up against, or how the client that you're doing the bookkeeping stacks up against other typical companies in your industry. So it's currently set to software system app, but let's say we're a grocery retail. You see with retail that the margins are very, very often quite small. And sensitivity as well. You can see how certain margins change as you edit your costs of goods, operating expenses and revenues and stuff like that. Break even, you can have a look at your break even analysis. Different sort of views for that as well. Revenue insights, expense structure, return ratios, DuPont analysis. Let's just quickly enter in some of these. So let's say the opening total assets is 200,000. Opening total equity was 200,000. Confirm. So yeah, it tells you your DuPont analysis. And for each of these modules, it's got a full explainer as well. So if you're ever confused exactly at what you're seeing, this is all the math behind it. So you see exactly, it's like an audit of exactly how it's arrived at those calculations. Yeah, you've got more things like financial health. Obviously with the general ledger, it asks you to enrich some of this information. To extract more information out of you, but you've got different things like working capital, cash conversion cycle, debt and leverage, operational efficiency. I won't bore you with this forever, but this is to try and give you an idea of how much information that you can actually extract, and it's going to be all part of CodeIQ. So you've got your key financial margin trends here with revenue, monthly revenue, cost of goods sold, profit, P&L trends, balance sheet trends, revenue forecasting. So it's got a weighted ensemble of 6 different methods of calculating your revenue forecast, including halt, winter, seasonal. And it sort of shows you a prediction of how your revenue might happen from this point onwards as well. So business owners who've just completed their bookkeeping, they love this kind of thing. They love to see exactly what the bookkeeping that they've just produced really means. Seasonality analysis, ratio trends, you can do budget versus actual budgeting analysis. And you've got your advanced tools. So bookkeepers and accountants would probably appreciate this. If you've got a client, you're not really sure about whether their business is You know, maybe something's a little bit off about it. Maybe there's transactions which you're not really sure are actually business expenses. Well, this actually flags this for you. So we've got no critical issues, but it has identified 2 medium risk issues. So what it said here is there are certain transactions posted on holidays, like weekends and bank holidays. That's not typical for a business. You review these and then you approve them if they're absolutely fine. Also, there's 11 credit entries posted in expense accounts. Yeah, they could have been refunds. Could be absolutely fine, but it's, you know, this sort of brings it to your attention. What if scenarios? So CVP, scenario planner. Let's say what happens if our revenue increases by 5%, variable cost ratio changes by -10%, and fixed costs reduced by 15,000. Well, it tells you exactly what will happen there. It models the scenario. Sensitivity scenarios, you can actually, you know, run the analysis and see the way how your profit sensitivity curves sort of react to different, you know, change your analysis range and stuff. Monte Carlo probabilistic outcomes, you can run simulations which tell you exactly how likely it is for you to be profitable given certain changes to the way how your business operates. And then you've got more experimental stuff, so a financial health score, with the Altman Z-score, Piotrowski F-score, key metrics, insights, you know, that kind of thing. Credit and lending, it gives you sort of like a credit score. I'm not going to run through all this, but yeah, so it's quite a lot of stuff. Again, I won't bore you with LedgerIQ. We'll return back to CodeIQ now, but that's the vision of how this is going to work. Yeah, so you can run 10 tasks in parallel. Each will finish in ideal situations within 2 minutes. And let's just have a quick look at the pricing. So this isn't set in stone yet. There is going to be a free tier as well with 500 credits per month. And that will actually, you know, handle most small to medium sized businesses. Most small to medium sized businesses don't really have more than 100 transactions a month. And that'd be 400 credits a month, and that's completely covered by the free, the free tier. So most people won't really need to pay for this. But for those who are scaling their businesses, maybe they move into e-commerce, that kind of thing. We've got these individual plans here. So for starter, you get 2,500 credits a month, £14 a month. An accountant, these for, you know, if you're an accountant who's got multiple clients or a bookkeeper, this would be more for you. And then you've got plans for practices who, you know, they could have up to 100 clients. If that would be for this tier. This is between 100 and 1,000 or more, you know, over 1,000, maybe up to 5,000 clients. And then this one is for, you know, if you're one of the larger firms with over 10,000 clients. And there's also annual savings. If you pay annually, might make it a little bit more affordable to you. All plans include ReconcileIQ, CodeIQ, and LedgerIQ. You get access to all of it. It's all part of the same ecosystem. They all run off the same currency, and that's the credits. LedgerIQ costs 1,000 credits per financial analysis that you run. CodeIQ is 4 credits per transaction reconciled and posted. ReconcileIQ is 1 credit per bank statement line reconciled. So it's a cohesive ecosystem where everything's included. Let's have a look at the way how this stacks up against sort of competitors. So this is my market overview. ReconcileIQ, CodeIQ, and LedgerIQ have multi-bank PDF to CSV conversion, high throughput reconciliation, AI auto-coding, UK VAT aware suggestions, auto post with confidence controls, 30 plus analytics modules, and we're comparing with accounting platforms here. So the IQ suite is not an accounting platform; it supplements accounting platforms. But we move on to, you know, document and PDF extraction. The only thing that we don't have is OCR. So OCR it's a method of extracting from scanned information, the text and stuff like that. But we do have digital receipt and document extraction. Yeah. Moving forwards, what I want to do is give a couple of shout outs and talk about feedback as well. So like I mentioned before, there's a beta testing form that you can see in the post that you're watching the video for. There's a form there. If you'd like to test this out, I'd be thrilled to have you on board. Just fill in this form. Yes, there at the very end there is a requirement that you repost this post if you want to become a beta tester. I know what you're thinking. He's trying to make a banger tweet. It's not like that. Essentially, whilst I've got 2,588 followers, which is not a small amount, but it's not a lot. So I want to try and get this post as far and as wide as possible to get a large range of potential beta testers from all corners of the UK, really. And there's a lot of people who follow me, who follow or are followed by quite a lot of other people. So if you're interested in trying this out, I'd simply ask that as part of applying to be a beta tester, you repost this post so that other people can see it. Where was I? Yep, shout outs. Shout out to my brother-in-law John, who's been with me every step of the way here. He's been so supportive, and I just want to give my thanks to him. He also recently introduced me to a guy called Tom Barker, who works at the Digital Forge, based in Sheffield. But they're all about solo founders taking the next step and supporting local businesses. They're incredible. But Tom Barker, I met recently. He's sort of helping me out, mentoring me, just purely off his own back, and I just wanted to shout him out, to tell him how much I really appreciate that. Shout out to TAP, where I work, the accountancy partnership. They've been brilliant since day one. 5 years ago, before I started working there, I really didn't know what to do with my life, but I had this idea that I wanted to become a data analyst, and that later evolved to financial analysis. And in order to do that, I wanted to do it the proper way, become a bookkeeper and then an accountant, and sort of learn from the ground up. And TAP took me in, trained me up, and they've been fantastic from day one. So thanks, TAP, for all the support. Last but not least, Cara. Cara found ReconcileIQ from a ChatGPT deep research query 2 months after I launched ReconcileIQ, which completely blew my mind when I heard about it. But essentially, she searched for the problem that she was having, and it recommended ReconcileIQ above everything else, which is just incredible. But ever since then, she's just been such a beacon of support. A lot of the UI changes that you've seen with ReconcileIQ, the improvements, come from her feedback, which is incredible. So thank you, Cara. And up the Reds. Yep, up the Reds. We've lost 3 on the bounce now. That's 2 in the league. That can't continue to happen for much longer. So hopefully one of the lads sees this LinkedIn post, and it gives them the inspiration that they need. So share this far and wide. Hopefully one of them sees it. I wrote a blog about my journey, really, from starting with ReconcileIQ in November 2024 to where I am now, and it's addressed to you, the reader or the watcher of this video, and I implore you to give it a quick read. We've entered now, I think, a period where people who are domain experts are going to be able to create solutions to their problems, to their own problems, the pain points that they identify, and then they're going to be able to sell those solutions as well. So this is addressed to you. Hopefully, if you give it a read, maybe it can give you a little bit of inspiration to solve your own problems in the way that I have. My journey has been probably the most fun I've ever had making anything. So I seriously recommend trying to do it yourself as well. And just really quickly, just to give you an idea of sort of what the cost actually really means, what's your return on investment. Let's say if you're an enterprise client, you're a big accountancy firm with up to 10,000 or more clients, and you take this tier. Well, what does 500,000 credits per month actually mean? Well, let's say the average bookkeeping client has 100 transactions a month. Let's quickly get this out on the calculator. That would be 400 credits on CodeIQ. So that's 400 per month. So we've got 500,000 divided by 400. I need to do that actually properly. 500,000 divided by 400. That'll be 1,250 bookkeeping tasks per month for £399 a month. So over 1,250, it comes out to about 32 pence per bookkeeping task. And each bookkeeping task, again, as I mentioned before, in an ideal situation is finished within 2 minutes. Now, if you really look at this, if it's 32 pence to do a bookkeeping task, and currently maybe that same bookkeeping task would take 2 hours for a bookkeeper who is not assisted with CodeIQ, and they're paid £20 an hour, then the difference between £40 and 31 pence, I think it's fairly explanatory that the ROI is close to you're spending about 1% what you would typically spend on a bookkeeping task. Yeah, CodeIQ. Please do, if you want to try it out, apply. The application form is in this post. And have a great day. Thank you for watching.